Hi, in this video for the little Poppins bag, I'm going to be showing you how to sew the side seam. It's a great technique to sew a side seam for a bag because the seam is flat. There's no overlap in the actual seam itself. So what you're going to do is you will have already sewn your handles on after you've sewn your pockets to the inside. You'll sew your handles on. Now you have to trim your bag up according to the pattern instructions. And again, these videos don't stand on their own. You do need the pattern to explain some of the parts of the construction that I don't explain in the videos. So the next thing that you're going to do is sew your sashing. The single layer of sashing goes on the front, and the double layer of sashing that's folded goes on the inside, or the outside and the inside. And you'll sew those both on at the same time with a 1/4 inch seam. Now you're going to sew this sashing to both sides of one front or back. You don't sew the sashing to both of them. So to attach the two pieces together, what you want to do is pull out this single layer of sashing. Place it so that it meets the raw edge of your bottom front or back. Now I like to clip the top edges and the bottom edges together so everything stays in place. And then you'll sew along here with a 1/4 inch seam so that it looks like this right here. Then you'll unclip it. When you fold it out, notice how it's finished on the outside. Both edges are sewn together. The next thing that you will do is you will fold this folded edge over, and then you're going to stitch all the way down to finish that seam. Now I'll show you what I've done here. Now on this bag, I've stitched that edge, that folded edge, down. The next thing that you want to do is you want to do the same thing that you did with the other side. You want to pull that single layer of sashing out, clip your top and your bottom, and stitch the two sides together with a 1/4 inch seam. Now, you cannot do like you did to the other side. You can't fold that over and stitch it because you have another layer to the bag underneath. So what you'll do is you'll fold and pin, fold and pin. Just going to pin it in a few places. Fold and pin, fold and pin. Now we're going to go over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to show you how to sew this edge. Before we move, I'm going to turn this right side out. It's just easier to sew that seam right side out. Okay, so here's the seam that we're going to sew. What I'm going to do is take the side that has already been sewn and roll it up a little bit so I can see most of that seam. Bring that over to the sewing machine. And the little bag is a little bit, the smaller little Poppins bag is easier to sew than the larger one. Oops. And I do back stitch a little bit. So I'm stitching very close to that fold. And you just keep rolling the bag up a little bit. And stitch all the way to the top edge. I'm almost there. If you ever use a stiletto, sometimes a stiletto is good to hold your fabric down. Oops. And that's all done. So you'll take that out and then clip your threads, and now your bag is one circular piece, and that's it.